Hello, welcome to Stretford Paddock. We're here for another paper talk. Today we're going to be talking about Ole Solskjaer's response to United's game against Burnley last night. You probably missed it. You probably missed the result. We lost 2-0. And it's the first time for me that we've seen Ole come out after a game and not have that kind of chipper, cheerful, always look on the bright side of life type response to a game since last season. Obviously, we saw a few games last season where that was the case as well. And it looked as though he decided we'd turned a corner, or we'd turned a corner where he was kind of praising and promoting the squad rather than coming out and having a go at the problems with the squad. But he seems to have given up on that. I think last night was kind of a final straw for him in terms of, this isn't good enough anymore. He came out of the game after the game and said, we hold our hands up, it wasn't good enough. We're working to improve the squad and get players in, and hopefully we can get something over the line this month. I think everyone can see these players are being stretched. He also said, we took the decision that some of these players were let go because we needed to start afresh with a clear target in front of us. This means a certain type of player in the squad. Yes, we know that means we have to gain quality. We have to get quality in and numbers in. So he's talking for the first time, or maybe not the first time, but certainly it's a marked change in tone for a post-match quotes from Solskjaer, talking again, like I said there. I think everyone can see these players are being stretched. Usually he says, they're trying as hard as they can. They're doing what they can, but it's a difficult time of year. It does seem as though he's sort of had enough a little bit. I think he's probably disappointed with the way that transfers have gone in January. I think a lot of people know that he was disappointed with the way the transfers went, even in the summer. I think he wanted another attacker. He wanted a midfielder as well. He's come out multiple times over the window in January and said that we're looking to strengthen, and midfield seems to be a key area that we're looking to strengthen, and we haven't signed anyone. We're looking at Jude Bellingham, who would probably loan back to Birmingham. The Bruno Fernandes deal is ongoing and stalled at the same time. Looks as though United aren't willing to pay what Sporting want there. And I think, even from a self-preservation perspective, you would be pissed off if you were trying to do your job and the people that were meant to make your job easier consistently and continuously didn't do the things that they're meant to do to help you out. Like Solskjaer's clearly, that he's talking there about we have to get quality in and numbers in, and these players saying these players are stretched for trying to improve the squad. That's not an appeal to the players to be better. That's an appeal to the owners and the board to buy some players that they said they were going to buy. He was promised an overhaul in the squad, and we've been really good at letting players leave. The easy bit where you just go, you want to leave? Yeah. All right then. See you later. 1.5 million here. Herrera leaving on a free there. That bit's easy. There's always going to be teams interested in United players. But getting people in, which is the difficult bit, we're not doing at the moment. And obviously we're not the only team looking for players. Chelsea looking for players as well. Other teams around that top four chase, they haven't managed to get people in either. But this whole Fernandes thing, and again, I think it goes back to the summer where Solskjaer was promised one thing, and it seems as though he got another thing, which is 2 or 3 players, but not enough, is it? Clearly not enough. How far do you think would get on The Apprentice? It depends how good he is at quoting those cliched rubbish things that people say on The Apprentice all the time, like, I will destroy anyone in my way to get to the top. If he says stuff like that, he might do all right. No manager is going to succeed with that board. I think that is... obviously Solskjaer isn't saying that, but he's clearly targeting the board and the owners with his comments and kind of suggesting that this is more than just him, more than just the squad, which of course it is. Even if he's not the right man for the job, I don't think anyone is sat here defending the board and saying that they've been doing an excellent job over the last few years. Ole looked lost in the press conference. He's just not working out that Woodward is not backing him. He nearly said that the fans should not protest, but then stopped and thought better of it. Well, talking about those comments, those chants, he said, what did he say on that? He said, I can understand the supporters are disappointed when times are tough. We just need to make sure that we help the players, the team, the club. So obviously he's not going to come out and condemn the fans chanting that. He probably would have wanted to join in himself, to be honest, with the way that it's gone in the transfer market and the way the team's been run over the last few years. As a United fan, which he is, I'm sure he wasn't happy with United's the way United had been run before he came in, let alone now. Now he sees it from the inside. we seriously can't blame this on Ole. I don't, I think some things can be put on Ole, but I don't think anyone's sat here trying to say that the lack of transfers recently and the way the club's been allowed to be run over the last few years is Solskjaer's fault. We could see a pattern and a trend before he got here that has continued since he got here. So you can't blame that on him. Piss poor from 4 managers, 600 million squad, apparently. That's a lie. I don't think the squad we've got now is worth 600 million. Maybe it is. I haven't done the numbers on that. I think we've spent 600 million in the last few years, which is what has been referred to there. But the likes of Lukaku, Di Maria, players like that, big money signings aren't here anymore. And I don't think certainly the team that started last night isn't worth anything close to 600 million. It's not always the club is too big. Free what? You should do yourself a favour and walk away. I suppose you're talking about Ole there. I don't think that does managers any favours. Even if you're just looking at it from Solskjaer's perspective, if he wants a career as a football manager, going I'm shit, I'm not good enough for United, and walking away doesn't help him. And even if he does say that, you're losing out on the extra money you get from being sacked, all of that kind of thing. I don't think there's much chance of him doing that. Really, because who's going to hire him after he's just said, I'm not good enough for Man United? I don't know I think he'd struggle if he came out and said that. But yeah, let me know again what you think in the comments. Obviously, United haven't signed the players that we're looking for. Bruno Fernandes, that's kind of... one thing leads to another, really, I suppose, doesn't it? We're talking about Bruno Fernandes and Jorge Mendes, who's... I think one of Fernandez's agent has said, I don't know, if he doesn't leave now, he will leave for sure in the summer because Sporting have already spoken with other clubs. Something will happen, but I'm not sure if it will be now or the end of the season. So it just looks like... I hate being all doom and gloom on here, but it looks as though that Bruno Fernandes deal is very much hanging in the balance at the minute, hanging on by a thread. I'm surprised to hear that there are Sporting have already spoken with other clubs. Not because players don't usually speak to other clubs, but surely if there are teams that want Fernandes, they want him now as well. I don't really get the whole they don't want him now, so United have got a free run at him now. And yet in the summer, there's loads of clubs who want him. I reckon they're probably the same clubs that are trying to get him now. We're trying to get him in the summer, maybe. Obviously, we don't know who those clubs are. There were rumours of Tottenham being interested. There were rumours of other clubs across the continent as well. But I can't imagine there's just United going for Fernandes now, and then there'll be 20 clubs going for him in the summer. I think that maybe some of that is kind of a scare tactic for United. Maybe a bit of it is him trying to say, if you don't sign him now, you won't get him in the summer. You got to do it now. Trying to sort of squeeze a bit of extra cash out of us for this deal now. Another thing as well, even if we do sign Fernandes, it's not too late. Obviously, you get 5 years from a signing, whatever it is. But we've just missed 2 games that we could have done with him in. Like, we've lost 2 games back to back that Liverpool, probably he might not have been the difference. Although we weren't that far behind until the 92nd minute. So potentially Fernandes could have helped us out. But a game like last night where we're struggling to make chances against a team in the bottom half of the league, he could have helped us win that game. Like, the transfer window's been open for over 3 weeks. And that's like 6 or 7 games that we've played in January now, probably. And it's just... the idea that, it was done on deadline day, that's probably 1 less week Solskjaer's got in the job if we keep losing games. So it just the speed at which this transfer is moving, even if it does happen now, is just unacceptable, regardless of whether it gets over the line or not. £30 million on a 16-year-old, that is Ross Murphy there talking about Jude Bellingham, who has been linked with United as well. Yeah, I think he's one of the most highly rated 16-year-olds in the country, or probably the most highly rated 16-year-old in the country. Already played for England under 17s and has captained England, I think, at youth level as well. So he's very highly regarded, sort of can do everything kind of player. But that's what players cost. And again, that's not happened either yet, has it? And the transfer window's been open for 23 days. So I wouldn't hold your breath for that one getting over the line. I'm sure something will, but I don't understand how. Do you know when you're at school and you've got an assignment that's due in, and the really good the kids in the class who get A's and who are good all the time, they get that assignment handed in 2 weeks early. Don't even care, it's done. I'm not even thinking about it anymore. I'm there like an idiot writing it the night before. That's how United are being ran, by like the idiot in the class, where it's the night before the transfer deadline thing. Oh, we'll just ring everyone now really quick. How does it take 3 weeks to sign a 16-year-old from Birmingham? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of things that go into a transfer. They know more than me on that, but everything just takes to the last minute. Everything is slow. Everything's this laborious process that isn't being done with any kind of efficiency. Or you don't look at the way that the transfers are being done and go, bloody hell, they've got a well-oiled machine there. Everything is slow. Everything is laboured. Everything is just right down to the final wire on everything. 30 million for him. Is he even ready to come in and start? It's an absolute joke. He's not ready to come in and start, I don't think. It seems as though he'll be loaned back to Birmingham. But the 30 million you're paying is for his potential, not for his ability to start immediately. I think the suggestion is you're looking at, like I said, maybe the best 16-year-old footballer in England in Jude Bellingham. It's not just we're just getting rinsed for some lad who's going to come in and sit in the reserves. We've bought 16-year-olds recently with like Hannibal. I think he was 15 or 16 when we bought him, and he didn't cost 30 million because he wasn't rated as highly as Jude Bellingham is. So I think the cost is a lot of money for someone who's that age. But you look at Wayne Rooney when he was 16. He was only a couple of years from being one of the best players in the world. So it depends what you think you're buying, doesn't it? Which is why he's such an expensive player. The positive is people are now looking at the real problems. I suppose it's one of those, isn't it, where if the real problems weren't there, the positive that we're looking at wouldn't have to be there either. I'd rather they weren't there. But assuming the problems that we do have are there, then I guess, yeah, it's nice that people see things for what they are, maybe slightly more. The whole team is injured. Yeah, there's another problem. This may be ground zero where we really start rebuilding. Well, I think regardless of what you see on the pitch, if you look off the pitch, the rotation and the numbers that have changed in the squad, the rebuild has certainly started. Solskjaer's rebuild has certainly started. 3 players in, which isn't enough. And then a whole sort of slew of players out, big name players as well. Lukaku and Herrera, Ashley Young, club captain, have all left. So I think the rebuild is definitely ongoing. But you can see the frustration in Solskjaer's face and in his comments again saying, I think everyone can see these players have been stretched and that we are trying to get people in. I think that it's clear that he's had enough and that he doesn't feel like he's being backed in the way that he should. Bayern Rooney was worth every penny. Yeah, exactly. And that was a 17-year-old for 30 million. So, obviously, we don't know how good Jude Bellingham will be, but the potential is obviously there, and United think he's the right man. So, I want Bellingham just to chant, "Hey Jude." Yeah, that'd be good. There you go. How can you dare judge Ole when he has never had his full team? Well, there's a bit of that, isn't there? There's a bit of that. I mean, obviously people can have their opinions on the manager, but it's difficult to say exactly what he can get out of this team when he never gets to play with his full team. They're always injured and he's never got a full strength side. He certainly hasn't got a full strength side now. And of course, he hasn't been backed in the transfer window the way that I think he was expecting to be. Right, that's going to be it for today. How bad do you think things could get? Could eventual relegation be an actual possibility? Probably not, just because of the money. But then this is what people were saying in the 70s as well, where you just sort of slowly cruise away from one brilliant manager and kind of go, well, we'll trust the youth. And then you have 2 or 3 sort of generations of youth players that aren't good enough and you drift away. And we've never seen anything like Man United getting relegated before. So I would say probably not. But, anything can happen. I doubt it's going to happen anytime soon, though, just because United have got too much money. Anyway, right, that's going to be all for today. We're going to be back with a podcast later. We've got loads of stuff coming out throughout the week as well, of course. Thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully we sound some bloody players, eh? Right, see you in a bit.